I read 130 pages of documents provided by Dean Lewis after all of the allegations made against him, and here's what I learned. Strap the in. So firstly, credit where credit's due. Dean Lewis did his first interview since the allegations with Nathaniel Cooper of the Daily Telegraph, and that thing is watertight. Every claim or piece of information is backed up, and I think he did a great job of not painting him as a victim or a perpetrator, and he navigated Australia's defamation laws really well. The first thing that struck me in Dean's responses and how he came across was that he seems angry. In my opinion, Dean frames himself as someone under siege. He repeatedly describes the women who've spoken out as trying to destroy his life. He says the claims are insane lies and exaggerations. The comments that he gave felt like he wants the public to see the story not as one about harm, but as about persecution. The second thing I learned is that this isn't just a response, it's an escalation. So Dean has now initiated legal proceedings against 4 women who shared allegations about him online. A spokesperson for Dean told me that of the 4 legal complaints, for 3 of them, they're looking for apologies, but for the 4th, Dean is asking for an injunction as he believes the person is at the center of fabricated allegations against him. Dean Lewis has taken this kind of legal action before. Last year, I published an example from 2019 where legal correspondence was sent to a person repeating allegations about him online. Also, Dean is very clear about what he accepts responsibility for. So in this interview, he doesn't walk back on his earlier admission that he behaved insensitively and treated women poorly. He acknowledges that, but he draws a hard line at the more serious allegations like rape, assault, grooming, pedophilia, which he categorically denies. From his perspective, the narrative shifted. What began, in his words, as criticism of bad behavior became accusations of serious criminal conduct. That distinction is central to his defense. I have personally read 130 of the 329 pages of his own evidence that was sent to Nathaniel Cooper. Dean sent him hundreds of pages of messages, links to downloaded videos. There are hours of video of the TikTok lives from his accusers. There's screenshots. This is all intended to show context because he believes context was deliberately removed. 80 of the pages are basically his entire message thread with one of the accusers. A spokesperson for Dean told me, and I quote, "This is the tip of an iceberg that's connected to a glacier." In one case, sexually explicit messages between Dean and a former partner are presented in full to counter the claims of coercion. So Nathaniel reproduced both versions, what was posted publicly and what Lewis says was omitted. Those tell 2 very different stories. Also, one of Dean's accusers is now the subject of a separate Daily Mail UK article, and that reporting alleges that audio posted to TikTok, which Dean says sparked the initial viral backlash, had portions removed, which they think changed the context of the conversation and made him appear more predatory than the full recording suggests. Another thing I learned was that not all of his accusers responded to the legal threats the same way. Some stand by their claims completely. One says she regrets ever getting involved. Another declines to comment. And one woman continues to assert that she was acting on behalf of a friend that she believes was harmed. This afternoon, Dean also posted a statement on Instagram. This is only the second time in about 5 months that he's addressed the social media storm. So he described the last few months as awful. He said a small group of people tried to destroy his life based on lies. And in that statement, Dean again acknowledged that he's been an idiot and a dickhead and made some mistakes, but said destroying someone's life for fun with lies isn't okay. Initially, I did find it interesting that Dean chose an Australian publication that puts content behind a paywall to go on record with an interview for the first time, even though Nathaniel has been covering Dean's career and Me Too allegations in the local music industry very well for years. But his representative told me that the paywall factor didn't even come into it for Dean. It was more about going with a credible journalist and that they do want the story to go as far and wide as possible, which, given the documents now shared with Daily Mail, is quite clear. And again, as I have always said in my Dean coverage, I am not suggesting Dean Lewis has done anything illegal towards women. I'm Poppy Reid. I tell stories about music, film, and culture. Hit follow for more.